We're now joined by ICC Assistant to Counsel, Atty.Kristina Conti. Attorney Conti, good morning to you.
Good morning, Karen.
All right, is there already an arrest warrant? What is the status?
That I cannot confirm on behalf of the victims because we're not the proper party to do so. We are not required to be furnished a copy of this warrant of arrest, particularly because it should stem from the office of the prosecutor and should go to the authorized arresting officers, and that would be law enforcement officials within particular member countries, and in our case, the state, former member country, the state where this accused is probably at.
All right. And I'm curious, you have the president hinting that there is an arrest warrant against him. Is it possible that he has information?
It could be possible. One, because the ICC really needed to talk to him at one point. So actually, we're thinking this arrest warrant could either also be a summons, considering that investigation is not terminated in the case of, or in the situation in the Philippines. A summons is an invitation for him to give his side. An arrest warrant, well, is a leveled up summons if the ICC believes that, well, there is reasonable basis to say that you are the most responsible for crimes against humanity and that you have the propensity to evade this summons. So it will be elevated to a warrant of arrest.
Okay, but would it be elevated to a warrant of arrest considering it's in the investigation phase? Is it possible that it's a summons, hypothetically, to first get the side of the former president?
The rules of the International Criminal Court state that it could either be a summons or a warrant of arrest, even pending investigation. Because as soon as you can determine that this person is, quote unquote, most responsible, or those who bear the greatest responsibility for crimes against humanity, and they have the propensity to evade this, then a warrant of arrest is better issued just to make sure that they will face trial before the court.
All right. Now, the president traveled to Hong Kong, and you have some saying that it's possibly to evade the warrant. I'm curious, what does, if it were Hong Kong, which is essentially a part of China, if a warrant were issued, would they have been able to actually implement the warrant if he were in a Chinese territory?
Well, yes. Again, the ICC will have to issue or send out the warrant to the country where alleged accused or subjects of warrants of arrest may be found. And I don't know how quick they act, especially it was a Sunday. And right now, I think it's still evening or early morning in The Hague. So they will have to send out this warrant to where this person has been identified to be at. And also, I just checked this. China is actually a part of Interpol, which is the same process or mechanism where we are thinking that the Philippines might cooperate with the ICC in terms of data sharing. And in Hong Kong, specifically, China has a particular, what do you call this? They have delegated regional authority. Interpol Beijing has delegated regional authority in the special administrative area of Hong Kong. And I've heard about many arrests, international arrests in Hong Kong, and I'm pretty confident that they are cooperative as regards international warrants of arrest.
But China can decline.
They can.
And you are hopeful they won't, considering how they support the former president?
Yes, considering the position of China at present, where it would appear in a multipolar world, it's at one end of the spectrum, and it's being vilified. They have the tariff wars with the US now. This simple thing, this small thing, maybe for them, of arresting a person who is subject of an international warrant of arrest, considering also that this person is going just to face charges. Hindi naman yan dadalhin sa bitayan eh. This person has a warrant of arrest so that he or she will face charges before an international court. And even if you are not a member of that court, at the very least, there should be a recognition that in international law, there should be processes in place.
All right. At this point, attorney, I think what are the victims expecting? There has to be a timeline on your end that you're hoping for.
Our timeline actually was for last year. We thought that the warrant of arrest, or at least would have been requested for or issued by the end of last year, because as early as January, which marked the 1 year. If you remember, in 2004, the ICC rejected already the appeal of the Philippine government to defer the investigation of the ICC. And so by July, it became really clear that they could go ahead without any further restraints or hindrances. Later on, the Philippine government also relaxed their position as regards cooperation. Sabi nila, sige, pwede silang pumasok, pero we will not officially cooperate. So, the circumstances as of last year were prime for a warrant of arrest to be issued. However, our wish did not come through, and we're just moving that time frame into this year. And so hopefully this year there will be either a request for a warrant or the issuance of a warrant. But on the part of the victims, what we are preparing for would be the presentation of evidence in case they would identify some of our victims as witnesses, and also the participation of witnesses in general in trial. It's because victims have a special role before the International Criminal Court. They have a separate entity from the prosecutor. In the Philippines, the private complainant. So if you are aggrieved as a private party, the private complainant, their lawyer they would have to be represented by the public prosecutor. In the International Criminal Court, they have a separate representation. So tatlo ang haharap sa ICC. It's the prosecutor, it's the defense, and victims.
On that note, I want to thank you so much for joining me today, Atty.Kristina Conti. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Always a pleasure.